honestly. I used to believe in quiet mornings, in coffee shared between yawns, in texts that said, "Made it to work." Honestly. Miss you already. I believed in the kind of love that didn't need fireworks to feel like magic. Just hands brushing while folding laundry, just shared glances across a chaotic kitchen, just the ordinary made sacred. 8 years, 2 kids, a home we painted in laughter, in late-night whispers, in promises. His name is Ethan. He was my best friend, my safe place, my mirror and my anchor. We had inside jokes no one else got. We'd walk after dinner, fingers laced like we were still 20. People told us we were goals, I believed them. Until one day I didn't anymore. It started small. Missed calls, dry replies, kisses that no longer lingered. I brushed it off, told myself he was just tired. Work, stress, life, but then it became a pattern. Late nights, no explanations. Phone locked like it held secrets bigger than us. He'd shower first thing like he was washing something off. Then he'd scroll his phone like I was invisible. I asked, "Rough day?" One he nodded. No warmth. Gone. Still, I tried. I made his favorite dinners. Wore the red dress he once couldn't stop staring at. Planned movie nights. Date nights, even talk nights. But he stopped noticing. Didn't ask how my day was. Didn't see the lipstick I used to wear when I wanted to feel beautiful. Didn't touch me unless the kids were watching. With them, he was still dad. Smiling, present. With me, I was furniture. Background. A ghost sitting across the table. One night, after bedtime stories and the usual chaos of sleep routines, I sat beside him on the couch, silent, hopeful. He was on his phone again, laughing at something I wasn't part of. I waited. Eventually he sighed, put the phone down, paused the TV, and for the first time in weeks, looked me in the eyes. Then he said it. "Can I ask you something? But I need you to really think before answering." My stomach twisted. "Would you ever consider an open marriage?" The room went still. I thought I measured, laughed soft, waiting for a punchline. But he didn't laugh. Just stared, serious. "Waiting," I asked. His replying, "I love you. I don't want a divorce. But I feel curious. I think it could help us grow." Grow into what? 2 people with a shared address and permission slips. I asked if there was someone. He said no. But his voice shook. And that told me more than his words ever could. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. I stood up, walked into the kitchen. My breath came in pieces. That night, I lay beside him like I was in someone else's life. And all I could hear in my head was his voice. "Would you ever consider?" Like he was suggesting we try Thai food for once. Like he hadn't just cracked open the foundation of us. The next morning he was normal. Too normal. Made the coffee. Kissed the kids. Acted like he hadn't asked me to redefine love on his terms. I couldn't eat. Couldn't speak. Was I that replaceable? That easy to edit out of his desires? He said, "It's not that I don't love you. I just want more. More excitement. More bodies. More reasons to leave without leaving." I wanted to shatter every plate in the sink. Instead, I said nothing. And he took my silence as consideration. But I was already unraveling. Already spiraling. That night I asked again, "Is there someone?" He denied it, but his eyes flickered. Just once, and I knew. Emotionally he was already gone. You don't ask for open doors unless your feet are already halfway out. I told him no, that I couldn't do it. That marriage wasn't meant to be stretched until it breaks. He told me commitment wasn't the same as limitation. Said love isn't possession. Said freedom is growth. All I heard was, "Let me have my cake and someone else's body too." After that, I stopped arguing. Started watching. He guarded his phone like it was sacred. Laughed too hard at his screen. Always face down when I walked by. One day he forgot it on the table. A message popped up. A heart emoji. From L. That was all I needed. The thread was already unraveling. He just gave me the scissors. I confronted him. He denied. Said it was just a friend. A joke. Got defensive. Turned it on me. Said I was invading his privacy. Snooping. Crazy. I locked myself in the bathroom and cried into a towel so the kids wouldn't hear. That night I downloaded a dating app. I didn't want to meet anyone. I just wanted to feel seen. One name caught my eye. Ryan. No shirtless gym photos. No cheesy pickup lines. Just eyes that looked kind. I messaged him. Told myself it was harmless. But I knew. Deep down I knew. This wasn't curiosity. This was survival. Ethan had already left emotionally. I was just catching up. Ryan listened. Asked about my day. Said he liked the sound of my laugh. And for the first time in months I laugh. I didn't tell him I was married. Because I didn't know what I was anymore. Wife. Placeholder. All I knew was that I didn't recognize my life, and maybe I didn't want it back. Not like this. I never planned to meet him. Ryan. He was just supposed to be a name in a chat. A small rebellion. A whispered scream into the void of a life I no longer recognized. But he didn't feel like the others. Didn't send, "Hey sexy," messages. Didn't ask what I was wearing. Didn't make me feel cheap for needing connection. He asked, "How's your heart today?" And I just stared at that message like it was a foreign language I had forgotten how to speak, because nobody had asked about my heart in years. Not even Ethan. I told Ryan bits and pieces. Edited truths. Married, separated emotionally. Still figuring it out. He never pushed. Never judged. He said, "You're allowed to feel lonely in your own house. That's not betrayal. That's survival." And something inside me cracked. We talked for weeks. Late at night, when the kids were asleep and Ethan was in the other room, pretending we were still something worth pretending for. Ryan made me laugh, made me think, made me remember what it felt like to be wanted without needing to be chased. He said, "You're too soft to be ignored like this. You deserve someone who asks about your favorite color just because." And suddenly, I couldn't stop thinking about him. Ethan noticed. He didn't say it, but I could feel it in the way his eyes followed me now, not with love, but suspicion. Too late. He had opened the door first. He had asked for more. He just didn't expect that I would find it somewhere else. One night, after the kids had gone to sleep, and the silence felt louder than usual, Ethan sat beside me. He didn't touch me, just said, "You've been different lately." I looked at him. At the man I once thought would be my forever, and I wanted to scream, "You started this." But I didn't. I just said, "So have you." He didn't deny it. Didn't apologize. He just looked tired. Like he was finally seeing the house he'd lit on fire. He whispered, "I didn't think you'd actually go find someone." I didn't answer. Because I hadn't gone looking. I'd just stopped hiding my brokenness. And someone kind had stepped into the rubble. That weekend, I met Ryan. In real life, a small coffee shop one town over. I told myself I'd just talk, just see. But the moment I saw him, everything inside me stilled. Like a storm had finally met its eye. He smiled, soft, steady. Like I was something fragile and worthy at the same time. We sat, talked, laughed. He didn't reach for my hand. Didn't touch me. But somehow, I felt more seen in that 1 hour than I had in years of marriage. When we stood to leave, he said, "You don't owe me anything. Just don't keep giving all your light to someone who doesn't see it." And I swear, in that moment, I almost cried. Because that was it. That was the thing Ethan stopped doing. Seeing me, I drove home, hands shaking. Ethan was on the couch. I stood in the doorway. He looked up, and for once, he looked afraid. Like he knew I wasn't the same woman who had been begging silently all these months. And I wasn't. I sat across from him. No more tears, no more silence. I said, "You asked for an open marriage. I didn't agree. But you emotionally left me long before I ever talked to anyone else." He didn't speak. I said, "I'm done shrinking to keep this alive. Done being loyal to someone who made disloyalty sound like spiritual growth." Still, he said nothing. So I stood up. And that night I slept in the guest room. Not because I was trying to make a point, but because it finally felt like mine. I stayed in the guest room, at first just for the night. But the second night came, then a third. And I didn't move back. There was no dramatic fight, no slamming doors, just a slow, aching silence, it like two people waiting for the other to admit it was over. Ethan tiptoed around me. Still made coffee, still packed the kids' lunches, but not once did he ask me how I was doing. Not once did he say, "I'm sorry." He was mourning something too, I think. But not me. Maybe the idea of being the good guy. Maybe the illusion of control. One night, as I was folding laundry, he leaned against the doorframe and said, "So, what now? You're just done." I didn't look up, just kept folding socks that didn't belong to me. My voice was flat, but steady. "I don't think I ever stopped loving you. I just stopped loving how I feel around you." He swallowed hard. Didn't argue. Because deep down, he knew it was true. This wasn't sudden. It was slow abandonment. One forgotten kiss at a time. I didn't tell him about Ryan. Not yet. because it wasn't really about Ryan. It was about remembering what it felt like to breathe in my own skin. We talked logistics. Schedules the kids. He said, we should try counseling. I looked at him, honestly, really looked, and realized he wasn't offering healing. He was offering delay, because sometimes, people don't want to fix the relationship. They just want to fix how guilty they feel for ruining it. So I said, I think we're past that. And walked out. That weekend, I met Ryan again. We didn't sleep together. We walked, talked. He asked about the kids, about what made me laugh as a little girl, about what scared me now, honestly. And somewhere in that conversation, I realized something. I wasn't looking for a replacement. I wasn't trying to trade one man's attention for another's. I was looking for my voice. The one I buried under dinner plans and compromise. The one that used to sing in the car alone at red lights. The one that used to write poems in the margins of notebooks. When I got home that night, Ethan was waiting, his arms crossed, his mouth tight. So you're just out dating now. And there it was. Not the jealousy, the entitlement, I said. You asked for an open marriage, remember? He fired back, honestly. Yeah. But I didn't think you'd actually want someone else. I stared at him. You didn't think I'd want to be wanted. He didn't answer. He said I betrayed him. And I laughed, bitter and exhausted, because betrayal isn't always sleeping with someone new. Sometimes it's months of emotional starvation. It's ignoring the person who sleeps beside you like they don't exist. I didn't owe him my loyalty after he gave me his silence. That night, I wrote a listing what I want. What I can't go back to. What I will never settle for again. At the top I wrote it, to be chosen even when I'm hard to love. It's funny how quiet endings are. You expect crashing dishes, stormy nights, raised voices. But sometimes it just sounds like the soft click of a door closing and your own heartbeat finally saying thank you. I didn't leave Ethan for Ryan. That's what people will assume. That's what he told his sister, his friend, maybe even himself. But the truth, I left because I kept leaving pieces of myself behind every time I begged for closeness and got distance. Every time I dressed up for dinner and he scrolled through his phone. Every time I whispered, I miss you, with my body and he rolled over. I left because staying felt like erasing myself one quiet compromise at a time. The night I moved into the apartment, it was raining. Not cinematic pouring, just a soft drizzle, like the sky was letting go too. I stood in the empty living room, no furniture yet. Just a mattress, some boxes and a nervous kind of peace. The kids stayed with him that weekend. I needed the space to settle, to unravel. And then my phone buzzed. Ryan, you made it okay. I stared at that text for a long time. 3 words, but they felt like someone wrapping a blanket around the version of me no one had checked on in years. Yeah, I replied. It's quiet. He asked if I wanted company. I said no. Not because I didn't want him, but because I needed to hear my own voice in this new space, without someone else's warmth clouding it. I spent that night drinking tea on the floor, staring at the ceiling, and crying in a way that felt like release, not regret. The next morning, I picked up the kids, their backpacks full of drawings and cereal crumbs, their eyes tired but bright. They didn't ask questions. They just hugged me like nothing had changed, and maybe, for them, nothing had. Because love, real love, the kind between mother and child, that stays. That doesn't ask for permission to keep choosing you. Co-parenting with Ethan became routine, polite, detached. We passed each other like coworkers with a shared project. No smiles, just updates. Sometimes he'd look at me like he wanted to say something. But whatever it was, he always swallowed it down like regret. He hadn't earned the right to share. And then there was Ryan, patient, present, never pushing. He didn't ask to move in, didn't ask what we were. He just showed up, with coffee, with silence when I needed it, with laughter when I forgot I was allowed to laugh. One night, weeks later, after the kids had fallen asleep in their new bunk beds, he was sitting on the couch, thumbing through a book. I sat beside him, not touching, just close. He looked at me, really looked, like he saw not just the woman I was now, but the girl I used to be before the ache, before the quiet unraveling. You okay? He asked softly, and for the first time in years I didn't have to lie. Yeah, I said. I think I'm finally starting to be. He reached for my hand, held it like it was something sacred, and I didn't flinch, because it didn't feel like a rescue. It felt like recognition. I didn't leave Ethan to be saved. I left because I remembered I was worth saving.